Lost streak, slump, falling from grace, whatever you want to call it. Everybody goes through it at some point in their journey of League, unless they quit before it happens, obviously. I myself have done it many, many times, going from Diamond all the way to Emerald 3 this year. That was not fun, and I've done it many other times in the past. Believe me, I'm very familiar with it. But the important thing is being able to bounce back from those slumps or lost streaks instead of allowing it to continue to brew until you never get back to where you were before, which is the worst case scenario. The first thing to talk about is how it actually happens. Your standards start slipping, whether that's consciously or subconsciously. Maybe you used to look at the minimap a lot more than you do now because you got a little bit too comfortable in your elo. You got complacent, it happens. Maybe when games start to feel really free, you relax a little bit too much instead of holding on to some of the stress of the game, and you end up throwing because you weren't thinking about somebody from Fog of War, or you weren't pinging off a teammate to do something, whatever it may be. Autopilot can cause all kinds of issues at this point. On the other hand, maybe not just the free games, but in the really tough games, you don't try quite as hard as you used to. You only put in like 70% effort when you used to put more 90-95% of your effort in, even in the games that felt really tough, because you want to show the absolute best that you could in that game and try everything that you had in order to win. It could also stem from external things, such as you're not getting enough sleep, or something's been distracting you, bothering you, whatever it may be, and it's hard to focus on the game like you used to be able to. All this combining makes you feel really, really bad about how you've been playing, and every time you queue up, you think about where you were before compared to where you are now, and it feels like you're standing in quicksand, just getting dragged down as you continue to make things worse. The most important thing to break this cycle is you have to accept the current rank that you're at. Yes, I know that you have peaked higher. Doesn't matter. You've got to get out of your head, pretend like it didn't happen. For example, with me, technically my peak at the time of making this video is 141 LP Master, but right now I'm 7 LP. Does that mean I am a 141 LP Master tier player? Nope. I'm a 7 LP Master player, not a D1 player, just low Master player. That's it. Don't overcomplicate it. That's where you are right now. Focus on that. I don't care how much you dropped, wherever you're at, that's where you are. Do not think about where you were before or where you could be in the future. Just focus on where you are right now. This will take a lot of time and introspection to actually convince yourself to accept it. Then what I want you to do is give advice to yourself like you would if it was someone else asking you for help, whether it be a friend, someone you're coaching, if you're high enough elo for that, whatever it may be. And then whatever advice you would give them, you need to do that. If you're not following the own advice that you would give, that's a huge red flag that you're not doing what you need to be doing in order to get back to where you were or even go further. You're completely limiting the progress that you'll have when you're not even following your own advice. Take yourself out of the equation as much as you can. You want to remove all of the emotional aspects and focus purely on what's going wrong. Now that you've accepted your current rank and you've given yourself some advice, what do you do now? If it's just a really short-term slump where you've lost like 3-4 games in a row, it could just be bad luck. Who knows? Try not to overthink it and just focus on continuing to play the best you can. If, however, it's a more long-term thing, like let's say maybe 20, 50 games, you've had some ridiculously bad games and you know you're playing terribly. Something has to be missing. Maybe even a bunch of things are missing. Go back to the very basics of what you were doing at the start. Things that you thought you had already completely mastered about your champion or role and really re-look into that. Compare your VODs to players that are higher elo than you. They don't have to be challenger, just higher. Let's say you're a platinum player, maybe look at a diamond player's VODs. Or if you're emerald, look at high diamond master tier. It doesn't have to be ridiculously higher, just enough to where you should be able to see significant differences between your gameplay and their gameplay. Try to find the trends. Some things you may even realize that they're doing and you're not doing, but you did used to do it in the past. And that's what goes back to earlier where your standards started slipping. You got to be a little bit lazy on the really core parts of your champion and you allowed it to slip. You allowed the complacency to halt your improvement process. A common thing for me whenever I go through slumps is I'll realize that I wasn't playing around my ultimate cooldown like I was supposed to be. Maybe I was taking fights with it still 30 seconds up. Same thing with summoner spells. I could be taking really risky fights, or not even risky, just outright no way I win it fights, because I don't have my summoner spells, but I play like I do have them. Gotta make sure you clean that up. However, let's say you've done all of this and you still can't figure it out. You're extremely frustrated. You feel like you've done everything that you can think to do and still you can't find what you need to do. You don't have any kind of plan. Get help from somebody else, whether it be coaching from me or somebody else. You don't want to do that, you can ask a friend, go to summoner school and ask some people there. Whatever you need to do to get some kind of external feedback, that's going to be so much better than just sitting there having no clue what to do. Once you've gotten the feedback, either that you determined yourself or that you got from somebody else, make your plan. Now all you have to do is follow through with that plan. That's it. Don't change it up. Don't do anything crazy. Just have a very simple plan where you know what you need to work on and work on it. Even if it goes poorly the first few games, do not give up immediately just because it's going rough at the beginning. That's the worst thing you can do. You can do it, you just have to stick to it. Keep trying really hard. Don't give up. You've done it before, just do it again, but try to do it even better than last time. Keep persevering and trusting yourself to actually improve. Giving up or focusing on the LP exclusively is only going to cause the cycle to repeat, and you're going to come back looking for a different solution and end up finding nothing. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you for listening. As I mentioned before, I do coaching completely for free on my Discord. That information is in my description. If you play top lane or jungle, feel free to message me there, and we can set up a time to do a session.